Well, it's the 2016 budget, and trade unions are particularly concerned, and none more so perhaps than the National Union of Metal Workers, NUMSA. And in the studio with us today we have Irvin, the General Secretary of NUMSA. I take it you are concerned about what's going to come out in the budget today.
Well, Terry, we are extremely concerned about both from the SONA and listening to the media and the media houses, the writings. I think the writing is on the wall that the Minister of Finance is being pushed towards a particular direction. And that direction, in our view, it's a direction to impose austerity measures, to attack the wage bill, in particular in the public sector. And we think that we reject this because from where we stand, this country is in a crisis as a result of neoliberal policies that have been pushed for the past 21 years. And we think that now is the time for government to move decisively, to fully implement the Freedom Charter, and to do away with austerity measures. I mean, from a local government to all levels, we think that the state must lead in terms of nationalizing commanding heights of the economy to beneficiate our own minerals. As NUMSA in the recent past, we have been battling to save the steel industry. And as such, we think that if there's one thing now, we're left with one company that is about to close that will hive off about 18,000 jobs at Emalahleni in Mpumalanga, which is Evras Highfeld Steel. And in our view, both IDC and PIC need to be allocated money to save that company because its capacity that we need to defend on manufacturing. And we think that government need to nationalize the steel industry, but not just ArcelorMittal and Evras Highfeld Steel. They need to nationalize the entire value chain, iron ore, manganese, vanadium, coal, if we were to take control of our inputs to champion manufacturing and industrialization.
But we've already done this sort of thing. For example, we used to make steel flanges here, we used to make coker pans. Now we export iron ore in huge quantities, or relatively huge quantities until recently. But all around the world there's a glut in steel. So what are you proposing? Then we stop all imports of steel?
I think that we need to do a couple of things. I think we know what needs to be done. I think we need to cut the interest rates. This obsession that whenever the Reserve Bank wake up in the morning, want to insulate itself from the South Africa and the South African economy is completely flawed and it is wrong. And in our view, the Reserve Bank should be targeting basically jobs instead of targeting inflation. Secondly, we have seen that economies like China now that have been taking our raw material, they have now built capacity inside the country, they're able to build their own economy. It's high time that South Africa need to, whilst we must continue to be a global player, but we must make sure that we build our own domestic economy, and we need to bring back capital controls to stop capital flights, money that leaves this country, both legal and illegal, and we must increase tariffs to protect strategic sectors in the economy.
So that's what you would like to see from a really radical budget point of view.
Well,
how much chance do you think you have of getting that?
Well, we think that we're likely to see worse things to come up, in our view. We think that right back from the Zuma arranging chairs, music chairs of ministers, and we have seen how powerful is finance capital in this country by telling the president and undermining the sovereignty of the country that you will bring back a different minister that we want. And all of us now, we are coerced, both trade unions and everybody, we must all pray, we must worship the gods of profits, and we reject this. We think that what this government needs to be doing, instead of prioritizing profits for the bosses and growth nonsense, this government should be focusing on making sure that it budgets, it delivers houses for the people, it delivers education from birth to death for all. This government should be dealing with apartheid spatial development, where basically the majority of the people in this country are continuing to be languishing in township with proper infrastructure. So there is no agenda to aggressively implement the Freedom Charter, and we do not think that this is going to come out.
So no matter what happens with this budget, you're not going to be disappointed because you know what's going to come.
We will not be disappointed. In fact, we're calling on the working class to mobilize itself as a class. We must take to the street. We must defend the gains that workers have secured. We must demand that public sector workers, they have got a right to decent condition, to decent salaries. And this thing that, look, we must now be doing everything in the interest of rating agencies who are directly responsible for the mess that South Africa is in. We reject it with contempt it deserves.
Thank you very much, Irvin.
Thank you.